YouTube, what's going on? It's been a minute. So, it's been a long, I don't know, at least 4, 5, 6 months of packing and moving. If you've been following this channel for a while, you might know we used to operate out of a small barn, and that's where pretty much all my other projects had happened, and pretty much my whole business up to this point. Unfortunately, we had some unforeseen circumstances within our family, and so we chose to sell the acreage, and I guess that means my shop as well. And so I'm using that opportunity to hopefully grow this business and scale it in a way that I've always kind of wanted to. And so we've made a move. Now, when I got this building, the old tenant, I'm just leasing it, 3-year lease, 5-year lease, something, I don't know, some lease, but it's a good price. So I signed my life away. Anyway, the old tenant was doing quads in here for oil field setup, buggy whips, whatever the case might be, racking, lights, that type of deal. So he had a bunch of racking in here and really kind of filled this space in. So when we got it, it was a completely empty shell. I'll try to get the full picture here. So it's probably 25-foot roof. It's about 60 feet deep and 30 feet wide to this wall, but then we have an 8-foot ledge up there, and underneath is, underneath here would be bathrooms and then mechanical room. So that's a common washroom shared by all of us that are in this complex. Luckily for us, we have our own washroom. So that's a bonus. So basically moved in, threw all this stuff in a pile from the old shop, which was a huge undertaking. Moving is no joke. Going over there and seeing it all completely empty. Our old space was kind of humbling in a way. Well, it's officially a wrap. The old barn, completely empty. I mean, there's some posters, but I'm thinking the new owner might like the odd stripper magnet, you know? Yeah, it's weird being in here. All empty. Lots of projects we did in this shop. Weird. Lots of different videos. In the office. Yeah, she was empty, so packed that all up, moved out of there, and dumped it all inside this bay. Like I said, it was completely empty space, and he had racking and all that. So he took all that racking out. And so I figured it was a good opportunity to build this mezzanine, which is, the better part of 20 feet high. And we built this all in-house, so it is 4-inch columns with 6x6 base plates. What type of channel is that? I think it's 6-inch channel or 5-inch channel. Can't recall. But the perimeter is with channel. Once the channel was installed, we did the floor joists, which are fastened to the channel with nailers. At least that's what I've always referred to them as. So there's nailers that are bolted through the channel, and then you can hang your joist clips off of that for your 2x6s. Mezzanine framed up. Got the wood on. Grinding the caps. Put some PL around the edge. The perimeter is steel. Screw these boards down. Boop, 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 boop. And we're gonna have a dance floor in no time. So 2x6 floor, 3/4-inch ply flooring, and then we stood the walls, which is just 2x4 framed walls. So that was pretty slick. And then we went ahead and did the roof, followed by the drywall, which was no easy task. I am not a huge fan of drywall, but my dad used to do it for a living, and so he helped out. So we got the drywall in, we hung these windows, windows, door, all that good stuff, for 175 bucks. So I thought that was pretty good marketplace deal. Anyway, got the flooring from there. Actually, we did primer, and then a top coat gray. So it looks pretty slick. What else did we do? Framed in the door, windows. We cladded the outside. So that was another task. With a ladder, I had my helper crawl up on the roof. So we cladded the outside, added corners, and then underneath we also did cladding. So when you're spraying sparks under here, we're not going to be lighting our office on fire. Everything underneath the mezzanine is self-supported. So is the mezzanine. That's the whole deal, is without pulling a permit, it has to be self-supported. So this is self-supported. All the shelving and all the tools and all that. This is going to be our fab area. So ran the HVAC ducting, which is kind of slick. We got a port there. I need hood vents. We got a port here, which is going to be more or less a TIG area. And then this would be our more steel general welding fabrication area. So the ducting works pretty good. And then we do have a hose here that is tied into the exhaust fan. And if a guy wants to run a car, you can do so. So that's the fab area. Thinking maybe getting a CNC table down the road. But for now, that's what we're rocking. So we got the lift installed. This was obviously from the old shop. And we're going to be having another lift right in this area. So it's going to be kitty corner, basically from here, roughly, to that wall. And then the car kind of goes in on an angle here. So we'll be able to do 2 cars here. We'll be able to do 2 cars here. And then if you're creative, you could do, you know, a car here and a car here. Or if you're really in a pinch, you could pull a trailer in still. This has got to be, I don't know, 20 foot-ish, 20 and change. So yeah, we got a drain in the middle. So again, with our winters, all the slush and stuff is gonna have somewhere to go. Also be able to potentially rinse a car in here. There is water over there. If a guy wanted to do a hookup, maybe run a garden hose or some type of washing system. But we have a washroom. In our old shop, we never had a washroom. We would pee outside. Got a washroom. Pretty slick. First aid kit. So yeah, moving up from there, we got a little area there for my helper, so that's kind of his toolbox and whatever. And then we did end up taking some of this racking from the old tenant here. So I'm going to be having wheels all up top. The compressor is actually mounted up there as well. Various parts bins for drifting. We got heads and turbos and my own personal junk. I got a tire machine, so that's a huge win. I used to be doing them by hand. Got a new saw. Self-feeding coolant, pretty slick unit, self-contained little tray underneath to catch all your offcuts and all the shavings, so that is wicked. I'll have 20-foot lengths off the side of this racking here, so we whipped up some hangers, so we'll put our 20 foots up there. That's more or less wood. And then yeah, moving forward, like I said, we tied that ducting in. That was existing, but that was a hell of a chore. This was all off a ladder, by the way. These stairs, I should say, were underneath the mezzanine. So they used to be running kind of down in this area. So those are moved. The handrail is just lobbed off, moved to the other side. Kind of suit where its new location is. I went ahead and built a landing underneath of it. So that was relatively easy to do. I feel like we've used this space pretty well. That's our paint cabinet, flammable, used oil, gas, whatever is going to be over here, as far away from the welding area as possible. So moving up the stairs, kind of have our, I don't know, old parts, old fenders, stuff that I don't want to throw out, but I don't know. A guy's got to keep it. It's from previous years. Whipped up a handrail, which is pretty slick. And then we have a beam slide here. So that will go across the beam, drop it down, and you can pick up engines and whatever from down there. So whoop, up and over the railing, over here. So engines will be up here. Anything that's heavy and not being used immediately will be up in this corner. We got knickknacks, all the plates I've had over the years, 20 years of driving, had a lot of vehicles and dirt bikes and trailers, whatever. So again, don't want to throw this shit out, might as well keep it. This would be our little, I don't know, cafe, breakfast, lunch, whatever, coffee area. I still need to get a coffee pot, but hey, we have a toaster oven, a microwave, and a fridge. Little pantry type deal here. Keep some snacks, you know, snacks, have a coffee, warm your food up. So yeah, we built this whole mezzanine. It's pretty slick, looking dialed in. That's where all the magic happens. So yeah, I went with like a gray interior as well. Maybe I got a thing for gray, I don't know. But I did all the molding as well. That's just white primer, just as it comes. Figure the windows are a nice touch. Got my desk, filing cabinet. This is 3 different pictures kind of into one, which is cool. 3 different track days, 3 different photos. So I hung that. Got the driving stuff. Pictures from over the years. One of my favorite things about the office is the backlit beam, which is kind of like a false wall. So again, like I was saying, this mezzanine is self-supported. And so that is a concrete wall. The floor joists, the roof joists are actually tied into it. And it is supported by the post in the middle. But yeah, it's a false wall and I'm able to run LED strip behind it, which is cool. Change the colors on it, whatever too. Got a leather couch, that's sick. We got internet and an Xbox because, you know, we got work to do. So that's sick. And a big window to overlook everything. Fired up to have a new beginning in a new space. Let the creativeness happen. And it's warm, it's contained. Fire code's easy to get because it's solid concrete, which is not the best for noise and sparks, but it is good for music. So that's sick. Anyway, this is a new shop. We will be carrying on. I'm going to try to do some more VK56 stuff, hopefully. We can find another chassis. We're doing different drift builds and some DIY stuff, you know. Just building things. That's what I like to do, is build stuff. So, thanks for watching. This is our new shop, and moving forward, this will be my background. Until then, see you later.